Hello there. My name is Scott McBride, and you are watching a video in which I'm going to teach you about and how to muscle test. Muscle testing is an amazing tool and technique that I use every single day of my life, and it helps me answer all sorts of questions to which my brain doesn't necessarily know the answer. Now, I use my brain a lot. I use my brain to discern what's good, what's bad, what's right, what's wrong, what's appropriate for me, what's not appropriate for me. My brain does a really good job most of the time in figuring out and discerning what's appropriate for me and what's not. Answering yes and no questions. Should I have this for dinner or should I have that for dinner? Should I sit down and pay bills at this moment or should I go do some laundry? Where all do I need to go on my shopping trip out in the world? Do I need to go to this grocery store, that grocery store, the post office, the bank? My brain does a lot of that work for me. But what happens when we find ourselves asking a question that our brain can't answer? What happens when we have a question that there's no obvious answer to it? There's nothing that our brain can quantify and say, this is the answer. Those sorts of questions come up all the time. And I use muscle testing to help me determine what is appropriate or not appropriate for me when I have a question that I simply don't know the answer to. It could be something that's just unknown about the future. It could be any sort of thing. So I'm going to show you the technique and let you work with this. This is a very interactive video. You're going to be working with me, and I'm going to be showing you in this video what's called the body pendulum technique. So I'm going to encourage you to stand up wherever you are, stand up and practice with me. I'm actually standing up right now myself. So the foundation of muscle testing is that instead of our brain doing the work to ask or to answer a question, our body is going to answer the question for us. Muscle testing is very much a in your body technique. Your body has a really amazing way of knowing and discerning what's good, what strengthens the body, and it has a really great way of knowing what weakens the body. And so we're going to practice this body pendulum technique. And basically what this is going to do is it's going to help us bring that information and that knowledge and the wisdom that the body holds and bring it up so that our brain can interpret it. So the body is going to react a certain way and the brain will be able to perceive it. And this is what helps us answer questions that the brain can't necessarily answer. But our body knows the answer. So that's what we're tuning into here. So by now you should be standing. Your feet should be about shoulder width apart to practice. Your knees should be just slightly flexed. You don't want your knees completely locked back. You want your knees just a very slight bend in the knee. Arms down at your side, just comfortably wherever they rest down at your side is great. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to first check and see which answer our body is going to respond to when we ask it to show us a yes response. So we want to know, if I was to ask my body a question, my brain can say yes or no, but how does my body say yes or no? So your body will say yes or no by swaying one direction or another. Now, for 90 to 95 to maybe even up to 98, 99% of people out there, your body will sway forward if the response is a yes response. If the answer is yes or affirmative, or it's strengthening your body will sway forward. I had somebody once say, oh, it's like you're going towards the thing that you're asking about. And I was like, I like that. Yeah, it's like your body's moving towards the direction that of something that strengthens it, of some of the affirmative, of the yes. And then for a no response, your body, most, again, 90 to 95 to 98, 99% of people, there's never been an official study done, but a majority of people will go backwards for a no response. So again, your brain can discern whether something's too hot or too cold. Yes, it's too hot. No, it's not that hot. Yes, I need to go to this store. No, I don't need to go to that store. Your brain can do yes or no really easily. But your body, obviously, your body isn't the thinking part of you. It has a different sort of energy. It has different wisdom to it. So we've got to create a platform of response for the body to be able to respond in a way that the brain can then say, oh, that's what the body does when it says yes, or that's what the body does when it says no. Okay. So yours may be opposite of that. You may be in the small percentage of people where this is the reverse, and that's okay. But we're going to practice. We're going to find out right now which response your body says yes to and which response your body says no to. So again, feet shoulder width apart, hands down at your sides, knees just slightly flexed and or slightly bent. And you're just going to ask your body to show you a yes. And as soon as I say that, my body wants to go forward. And you can come back up once you move or sway a certain way. You can come back up to the upright position. And you can just confirm that. Again, body, just want to confirm, show me a yes. My body wants to go forward immediately. Now you can come back up to center and you can just say, body, show me a no. And my body immediately rocks back on my heels. I'd actually grab the counter that's in front of me to stop from completely going back. So again, I'm going to come back up to neutral, just standing upright. I'm going to say, body, show me a no. And my body automatically wants to go backwards. So that's my response. And you can pause the video if you want and practice that a little bit, but you want to confirm and get comfortable knowing if a forward movement is a yes, affirmative, and a backwards movement is a no, or if those are reversed or not. And you're just going to practice a little bit with those, with just confirming yes or no. And then once you feel like you've got a good idea whether your frontward moving or movement is a yes and backward movement is a no, or whether it's the opposite of that, you can start to ask certain questions about things that your brain maybe doesn't know the answer to. It could be things that you have to do on your to-do list, like, is the best time for me to do this today? Or is the best time for me to do this thing, whatever's on my to-do list, tomorrow? Or maybe the next day? And you can muscle test yes or no. I love using muscle testing for timing things. I have a lot of ideas that flow through my head, but I don't always know the best timing of those things. So when I get an idea in my head, I'll muscle test what's the best timing for me to do that. And I'll ask, is it today? Yes or no? Is it tomorrow? Yes or no? And I'll sort of get, as I'm muscle testing, I'll get a better idea of when I should be focused on doing the idea that I have. I've actually had this idea to do this for a while, and I kept getting a no, no, no. And then all of a sudden I was muscle testing today. Is it time for me to do this muscle testing video? And I got a very clear yes. So here I am. So, now, I sort of alluded to this, but the other part of the screen that's in front of you is to determine an answer to a question that could have multiple answers. You can break that question down into a yes or no format. So which one of these 5 things in front of me, I'm making believe that I have 5 items in front of me. Which of these 5 things is best? Obviously, there's not a yes or no question or answer to that question, right? But there is a yes or no answer if you just say, well, out of these 5, is the first thing the best thing? Or is the second thing the best thing? And you can muscle test and break those things down. So I just used my example. I have thousands of examples. One of the examples I used is timing. So is today the best day to do this thing? No. All right, how about tomorrow? Yes. Okay, well then I'm not going to worry about it today. I'm going to go and I'll schedule that for tomorrow sometime. Maybe I say, is this week a good time to do the thing I'm thinking of? And I get a no. All right, what about the next week? No. What about the week after that? Yeah, there we go. So in 2 or 3 weeks, I'm going to look at doing the thing I'm thinking about in my head, but my brain can't necessarily pick the right time. So you can break bigger questions down into smaller segments when you're asking questions like that. Now I have one additional slide that I'm going to show you here. And these are some muscle testing tips. Now, I think it's important to bring these up because they can affect, some of these things can affect the outcome of your muscle testing. So if you go to practice this, either during this video or after the video, make sure you are hydrated. If you get weird or wonky results, or you get wishy-washy results, like, well, I kind of started to sway forwards, but then I swayed backwards, and then I maybe went to the side, and then I'm not really sure where I'm going, go drink a glass of water. And when you're done, come back and muscle test again. And 99 out of 100 times, your muscle testing will be clear. I've taught this muscle testing technique for 15 years, and it never fails that drinking a glass of water will get you a really clear response. So if for some reason you're a little wishy-washy at all, go drink a glass of water. If you're tired, your muscle testing might not be as accurate, because tiredness, your body, remember, this is a body technique. And so if your body is tired, it may not have the ability to give you a clear result. So just pay attention. A lot of times at the end of the day, if I'm muscle testing something, I may double check in the morning when I'm refreshed and ready for my day, the questions I was asking myself the night before, just to sort of confirm that I was correct from the night before. If you're not open to the answer, you may block a clear reading. So I do not recommend muscle testing questions like, do I have cancer? Or any of the other big things that we have a lot of emotional attachment to whatever the answer would be. If you're not open to the answer, or if you already have decided something and then you go try to muscle test it, you more than likely your body will respond in the way in which your brain directs it to. So you really want to be open to the answer. And that's why, asking about like timing, or asking, I've got a variety of things in front of me I could choose from. Well, which one should I choose? If you're open to whatever that answer is, you'll discover that your muscle testing will dial right into what's appropriate, so long as you're open. You want to stay empowered with the information that you get. Just because I muscle test that the timing is right to do something next week, I'm still just using that as information, but I still get to decide how I use it. Am I choosing to ignore it, or am I going to follow it to a T? I've been doing this for so long, I pretty much follow my muscle testing no matter what, but you are empowered to decide for yourself what the appropriate response or answer for yourself is. If you don't get a clear yes or no, ask for a clear yes or no. Just say, body, I need a clear yes or no here. And your body will respond more clearly, but you got to kind of give it some oomph behind that statement. I need a clear yes or no. Ask your question again, and your body will respond in a stronger way. If you don't get a clear yes or no, and you tell your body, I need a clear yes or no, ask, and you can muscle test if you're even asking the right question to begin with. Quite often I'll be asking a question and I won't know the answer. I'm open to the outcome, but I'm getting sort of a wishy-washy answer. I'll check, am I asking the right question here? And if I get a no, which is my backwards response, I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to think about the question, and I'm actually going to wait until that question pops in my head, and then I'll ask the different question. A lot of times there could be assumptions that are made, and that's the next bullet point down. Pay attention to the questions you're asking, because oftentimes there are underlying assumptions that are incorrect. Like, which restaurant should I go to tonight? And then you in your head name like 10 of them, and you get a no for all of them. Well, you could be thinking, well, what's going on? Like, there's something wrong here. I've got this assumption I was going to muscle test a yes for at least one of them, but maybe the question is, should I even go out to dinner tonight? And that can change the entire answer. If you got no, I shouldn't go out to dinner tonight. Oh, well, then of course I was going to muscle test no for every restaurant I was thinking about. So pay attention to your questions, because if you're either getting a weird response or you keep muscle testing yes for everything or no for everything, there could be an underlying assumption there. So check your questions and then ask, like, am I even asking the right question here? Now, there are other methods that I'm going to record other videos about, and I'll talk more about other tips and other aspects of muscle testing. This is not by all means going to be the only one, but if you decide to go either onto YouTube and watch additional videos about muscle testing, or if you check out one of my other videos about muscle testing, find the form that really works for you. If this body pendulum technique is a pretty easy, I would say a good majority of people get this one right away. But there are other techniques out there, and you may find one that you actually prefer a lot better. And every time I teach this to somebody, someone's like, oh, I know a version of this, and they'll show me what they do. And it's completely different than anything else I've learned. I literally probably know dozens of muscle testing techniques. So once you find that you either like this technique or you like a different muscle testing technique, stick with the technique you like. And then the art of working with it is in asking the right questions. So be curious about things in your life. Really give yourself permission to explore things that you've sort of maybe put off because, of course, your brain doesn't know the answer. So you can use this tool to enhance and give your brain the opportunity to discern a little bit better what's more appropriate for you or not appropriate for you. So I hope you got a lot out of this video. As I said, there will be other videos that you can go check out about muscle testing. If you have questions, please feel free to post a comment or send me a direct message or a direct question, and hope to hear back from you and how well you're working with muscle testing. Take care. I'll see you soon. Bye.